Canada has just confirmed a 7% cut to the 2026 study permit cap, a decision that will reshape the entire international student landscape. If you're planning to study in Canada, this update could change everything. Welcome to Canada Visa. Canada has just made a major announcement that will impact thousands of international students around the world. For 2026, the government has officially reduced the national study permit cap by 7%, signaling a significant shift in how Canada manages international education and immigration. This change is not just a number. It affects how many students can study, which institutions will be more competitive, and how applicants must prepare their documents and applications. In this video, we'll break down what this 7% reduction really means, why it was implemented, and how you can navigate the new rules to maximize your chances of studying in Canada. If you're planning to pursue your education abroad, this update is crucial, and understanding it early could make all the difference in your journey. Earlier regulations in 2024 and 2025 signaled that changes were coming, but the 7% cut for 2026 makes it official. Canada is moving toward a more controlled and sustainable system. According to the announcement, the reduction aims to ensure that students entering the country receive proper support, adequate housing, and high-quality education. The government also emphasized that the cap reduction is not meant to limit opportunities, but to maintain fairness and stability in the education sector. What does a 7% reduction actually mean? For applicants, it means fewer study permits will be issued compared to previous years. Provinces will receive slightly smaller allocations, and institutions will need to be more selective in admissions. This will especially affect regions with already high student numbers, such as Ontario and British Columbia. Smaller provinces may be impacted less, and some might even experience increased interest as students look for alternatives. The competition will increase, and students with stronger academic backgrounds, reliable financial documentation, and clear academic plans will have an advantage. The federal government clarified that this reduction is part of a multi-year strategy to reform the international education sector. Several factors influence the decision, including housing shortages, rising living costs, and concerns about students being exploited by low-quality institutions. Officials pointed out that some private colleges have grown rapidly without providing proper support to international students. These concerns have pushed Canada to take stronger control over the number of incoming students and to ensure that only institutions meeting stricter standards can host them. One of the most significant effects of the cap reduction is expected to fall on colleges and private higher education institutions. Universities, especially research-based ones, are likely to remain stable because they often attract students with strong academic records and contribute heavily to Canada's economy and workforce. On the other hand, smaller private colleges, whose enrollment heavily depends on international students, may face challenges in filling seats. Some of these institutions may need to restructure programs or improve services to remain eligible under the new policies. The government also highlighted that reducing the study permit cap is linked to broader immigration reform. Canada wants to ensure that international students who come to study also have the resources and environment needed for success. This includes safe housing, accessible healthcare, and high-quality academic support. The new cap also aligns with Canada's economic goals, ensuring that graduates can smoothly transition into skilled jobs that match labor market shortages rather than being pushed into low-wage or unstable employment. Another major point discussed in the announcement is the effect on processing times. With fewer applications expected and more strict documentation requirements, the government hopes to reduce processing backlogs and detect fraudulent applications more efficiently. Fraudulent acceptance letters, fake financial documents, and unregulated consultants have increasingly become a problem. A smaller, more manageable cap will allow immigration officers to thoroughly review applications, making the system stronger, safer, and more transparent for genuine applicants. At the same time, the government reassured that the 7% reduction will not affect the quality of education opportunities or the support provided to international students. Instead, They aim to create a more stable and welcoming environment for those who arrive. Students who are accepted will likely benefit from better access to housing, more campus resources, improved classroom environments, and a clearer path to work opportunities after graduation. This announcement also brings questions about the post-graduation work permit, commonly known as the PGWP. Although the government has not introduced a new PGWP policy alongside the cap reduction, they hinted that further updates may be coming. Canada is likely to continue tightening rules around institutions eligible for PGWP support, prioritizing programs that lead to skilled jobs and meaningful contributions to the economy. As the 2026 policies develop, students will need to be aware of how the cap might influence work permit eligibility and long-term immigration pathways. For families and applicants planning their study journeys, this news might feel discouraging at first. A 7% reduction may seem small, but it creates a larger ripple effect. More competition means applicants will need stronger profiles, clearer study goals, and more complete documentation. However, this does not mean studying in Canada is becoming impossible. Instead, it means applicants must be more prepared and strategic. Choosing reputable institutions, following official guidelines, and preparing solid financial documents will be crucial. Interestingly, the government also pointed out that some provinces may still experience growth despite the national reduction. Places like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland may attract more students as applicants look for provinces with lower competition and more available seats. These regions often offer affordable living, supportive communities, and pathways to permanent residency that are easier compared to larger provinces. This shift may help Canada distribute student populations more evenly, reducing pressure on major cities and encouraging economic growth in smaller communities. Canadian immigration experts are calling the 7% reduction a necessary step toward long-term stability. They emphasize that the goal is not to reduce opportunities, but to create a stronger and more reliable education system. They also note that students who genuinely intend to study and prepare properly will still find opportunities in Canada. The government is simply working to eliminate loopholes, strengthen regulations, and ensure that the system is not exploited. Another important element of this announcement is the increased focus on student well-being. With fewer students entering, institutions will be required to demonstrate better support services. This includes mental health resources, academic counseling, settlement support, and protection against exploitation. Housing support will also become a priority, with institutions expected to help students locate safe and affordable accommodation. The government stressed that international students are valued contributors to Canada, and protecting their welfare is a top priority. As this policy begins to take shape, attention will turn to how institutions and immigration offices implement these changes. Universities may revise their admission processes, colleges may strengthen programs, and consultants will need to stay updated with accurate information. Students planning to apply for the 2026 intake should begin preparations early, gathering documents, researching institutions, and keeping up with trusted updates. It's also important to emphasize that Canada still remains one of the most attractive destinations for international students. The country's high-quality education, diverse communities, safe environment, and strong employment outcomes make it an ideal place for students to build their futures. The 7% reduction does not change Canada's commitment to welcoming skilled, talented, and ambitious students from around the world. Rather, it reflects the country's focus on ensuring that students are supported and given the best possible environment to succeed. As we move closer to 2026, the global student community will continue to watch Canada closely. Students with dreams of studying abroad will reconsider their plans, explore new provinces, or strengthen their applications to increase their chances. The government has promised to provide more updates throughout the year, giving applicants plenty of time to prepare for the new system. As Canada prepares to implement the 7% reduction in the 2026 study permit cap, staying informed and prepared has never been more important. By understanding these changes early, you can make smarter decisions, choose the right institutions, and strengthen your application for success. We'll continue bringing you the latest updates, insights, and guidance on studying in Canada, so you never miss a critical development. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay connected for more updates that could shape your future in Canada.